you guys doing? Randy Richard in the shop. Not a lot of content for you. I got some stuff from eBay to show you, and the spot for the new lathe I'm going to go pick up next week, and new to me. Thanks a lot for all the great support with dovetail cutters and scribes. I do have dovetail cutters, or I'll make one up if you want one. No problem there. And I've got materials in to make scribes, and we're going to be doing those on the new machine. So hopefully I'll be able to get that set up pretty quick in the next couple weeks, and we'll get to making scribes. Not a lot of other real interesting content this week, but you know, I got to order stuff for my heat treat oven that I'm building, and we'll do video on that, of course, and show you what I'm going to do there. So thanks a lot, you guys, and enjoy the short video. Hi, you guys. Randy Richard in the shop. So I got my 3D printer to stop printing mirrored. I figured that out. And I've been printing a few things. This is just for logo shots, to have something in my videos, but the only issue I have is right now is I have two issues. Surface finish is one. The top, it prints on this is the top. This top surface finish is just horrible, and I'll show you a few more examples of that. So here's a few samples. These are my Lance lathe, my big lathe, the wipers for the carriage covers. And they all look the same, but there's really 4 different ones. Here's the originals. Here's the metal, the aluminum ones. Here's the aluminum ones, and this one's all broken and most of it was gone. This one's all worn off for some reason. But they're all a little bit different as far as their wear goes, or how they were made. I think they were castings. So every one of them was different to make. It took me a few prints to get the sizing right, so they fit and things like that. I did not print these holes all the way. I did have them all modeled, but they don't come out very good, so I take the hand countersink and clean up the holes and run a 1/4-inch drill in them. This is the bottom side, the smooth side, and then the top side is very, very rough, and you probably can't tell, but that's the problem. That's the big problem with the surface finish thing. And you can see how this one got all screwed up anyway. Different, and when you change material, if you change materials, boy, then you're dealing with changing the temperatures and adjusting things again. But very, very rough surface finish. Sidewise, side finish, I don't think that's too bad. It's not too bad, and that's set at 0.2 millimeters for layer increments. So anyway, so it took a few. Like I said, it's 4 different ones there. You know, the last one I did it in 1 print, where the other ones took 2 prints, or one of them probably took 3 prints, the first one. But interesting product. Now, this is probably not the right material to use for lathe weight cut. I really want to make these out of aluminum. But I did this first, you know, learning how to use the 3D printer and such. The hot chips, especially on the forward side of the carriage, hot chips can stick to this stuff and melt it. This stuff's not, this is PLA. I guess ABS is a little more heat resistant, so maybe if I make them out of ABS, they'd be better. I haven't tried any ABS, and they say that's even more difficult to get set up to print with. But anyway, the printing thing is pretty fun. It takes a lot of time. To deal with. I'll show you one other project. So this This is another project I'm working on. Now this is a piece off the lawnmower that goes just like that. Gluing this together did not work. You can see how that is. It is just plastic. So I modeled it up, and I actually using this pink stuff. I got a couple pretty. It came out pretty decent. From the bottom here is here. It built the support structure here, and this all came out not too bad. But when it got to build this part up, it flows over the edge, and it's like it's too hot for at least this part, or it's too small maybe, and it doesn't have enough time to cool off between layers. As this one here did the same thing. You can see how it's flowing over the edge. I probably need to get a cooling fan to cool the print as it prints. My printer does not have that. And then I changed to yellow, and it was even worse. Autofocus is an issue. So you can see here it's really melted, but it did the same thing on this small part. So small parts are an issue. Larger ones aren't too bad, except for surface finish is really bad, really rough. So if anybody has any, tell me anything or ideas there on the surface finish, or about this too hot up in here or something like that, or have any ideas. Period. So those are two projects I worked on so far. I did one other one, little hand wheels for the little flat. They're just flat. I tried to do a boss on a little gear type hand wheel for the printer. They're on the bed, adjusters, and having a boss on it, it melted in the same fashion as this, or flowed over. So small areas are difficult. Anyway, we'll be continuing on and figuring some more stuff out on the printer. I got a couple things. I did pick up a few things on eBay, and I want to show you those. This is a SquareMaster. This is a 12-inch SquareMaster, not an 18-inch SquareMaster. I've been wanting to get one for a couple of years. I've been watching eBay and looking at other sites, and these are hard to find, especially when you're going to pay $700 or $800 for one. There's been on one, an 18-inch one, been on eBay for $700 for a long time. So I have an automatic search going on eBay, and the other day, this popped up. It sends me an email when something comes up, and I instantly bought it. Just boom. It was $300. I was buy it now, which usually they're not buy it nows, and it was buy it now, and I bought it. Great shape. Did not have any attachment point out here. The slide is in here, but it didn't have anything to attach an indicator, so I made an indicator mount for it here. Oops. It's a little it's cold in the shop, and so I might have it adjusted too tight, but when it warms up, it's a lot better. But it does slide. Here, we'll move that out of the way freely. So this has a 12-inch stroke to it. I disassembled the thing completely, cleaned the stone, and readjusted it all. It works fantastic. Like I said, I made this aluminum bar mount so I can, like the knobs, so I can I can put it every inch I have a hole, so I can put the indicator in all along here. Down here on the bottom works real nice, and this indicator I'm using this is a tense indicator I'm using on here. This is a best test tense indicator, and it just slips right in. and you can adjust your tip so it has the proper angle. If everybody's watched that one, I think it was Joe Pye explaining that. If you just read the instructions to one of these, you'll see he's explaining to you the instructions, which is good. It's a good video. Anyway, but this is it was in great shape. This is the back. They have this alarm on here. They must have been using it in one particular spot, because this gives you a few inches of stroke. It gives you a little hand lever to run this up and down. So there's only one set of screw holes, so they must have did that so it can be adjustable. I mean, so you can run it up and down a little easier. But anyway, see, this is my square, and Stan has showed this many times. You guys should check Stan's channel. But anyway, you set it with your square. I've already set it, and then you put up your piece you want to measure and run it up and down. I prefer to hold the back to slide it up and down. But this was a great find. I'm really happy I was able to find one at a reasonable price. So over here we have the mill. Over here is the lance lathe, the big lathe, and over here is my table and welding equipment. And then over here we have the Logan lathe. Now it's up off the floor, 6 inches or so on this platform on this side. Just imagine over here having a Hardinge DSM 59. So we're going to, I'm not sure if I'm going to just set it on this concrete here, move all this stuff somewhere else, and or am I going to put it up with the Logan, move the Logan down and put the DSM 59 over there and move all that stuff out. But next week we're going to have a DSM 59 here. I'm getting it from Don Cossitt. I will put a picture in the video. But we're going to get it in here somehow and get it going, and we're going to hopefully have it up and running fast enough. I'm going to start. I'm going to make the scribes on it this year. That's the plan. Or I'll use both lathes actually. I could have one set up on for one function on the Logan, and then have the other turret. The DSM 59 is a turret lathe, and we'll have it I'll do other stuff on that one. Anyway, that's the plan. That's a new equipment shop update. This is something else I picked up on eBay. It was really cheap, 30 bucks I think it was. So I had to get it. It has a lapped surface here for as a comparator hand. It's not very tall. It's only about 6 inches tall. But I really wanted it for the adjuster here. This is a flexure type adjuster. This is Mitutoyo, a stand. It is in the rest of it's here in great shape, except the knob was broken. So I was able to get it really cheap. And so I made a new one. I made a whole entire new one. It was also, the stem was also bent. I then probably dropped it. So I just made a whole entire new one. I took the brass piece off of there and reinstalled it on here. Nice new knob, Steven style. That comes out really nice. I like those knobs. That's a nice knob. But anyway, that goes on. And works out really nice. But I like the adjuster. I think I'm gonna make another one. I'm gonna make one of these. I think very similar to that. I think I like this style, and for a taller comparator stand I have. Maybe I'll just model up one and make a whole new one for one of those. But this is for a little shorter stuff. This is another item I picked up on eBay. This is a Bendix Type 1 amplifier, transducer amplifier is what they really are. And it came with a Sheffield T220 probe. Now these are older units. These are 80s technology, but they're less expensive than the Federal ones. But you can find these on eBay dirt cheap. I've seen these for as little as $30 for the amplifiers. And I just picked up 2 more probes for I think about 40 bucks. So little different style ones, but T225 probes. But this phone rang. Anyway, so this one will read down to full on the inch side. The top part is metric, the bottom is inches, down to 1/1000th of an inch full range from 0, plus or minus, and 50 millionths per mark. That's the finest range, and then 25 thousandths for 25 thousandths for the coarsest range, and each marks 1/1000th of an inch. Right now I have it set for 2/1000ths is full range, and each mark is 1/10th of an inch. And I have a 1-inch gauge block here right next to a gauge block set for 1 inch and 5/10ths. So I've zeroed it out on the 1-inch block, and I'm just going to roll over and go to the 5/10ths one, and that's exactly at 5/10ths. And for me, tenths is, with the grinding, I'm happy in the tenths range, even though maybe I can get a little bit better, but most of the time within 1/10 or so, I'll be happy with. That's the 5/10 I'm happy with usually. But anyway, so this is a new toy that I picked up. Here we'll go to this scale is 10/1000ths of an inch, and each mark is 1/2,000th. So every time you change it, you'll have to redo it. Now the blocks ring to this plate, so they're a little touchy to move. The nice thing about these Sheffield probes is they have a flexure joint on them, so you can adjust very easily, to 0 right there. But you very, very easily adjust these probes. That's kind of nice. It's all built in. And then doing it on this stand, you have another flexure joint, and makes adjustment really easy. So let's see. This is so that's 10/1000ths full scale, and each mark's 1/2,000. Should go about one mark, and it went exactly 1 mark. Half a thousand, so 50. And that's what this gauge block extra is on there is a 5/10. So anyway, they ring, like I said, they ring to the plate, so it's kind of can be a little tough here to keep them rung on there as you move them sometimes, but yeah. So anyway, that's the last new toy I picked up on eBay here. So it's more of a toy. I mean, it is accurate enough for me to use in the shop, especially with the grinding, making things more accurate. This is an autoclave I acquired from my sister-in-law, who's a veterinarian, and I don't know, she said it leaked a little bit. She was getting a bigger unit anyway, so she just gave me this and see what I can do with it, right? Well, you know, it's all stainless steel. It's rated at 40 psi actually, the inside. And I've done some measuring and figuring, and I think I can turn this into a small heat treat oven. All I'll have to do is shape some bricks and put in some high heat coils and a little bit of controls, and I'll strip off everything on the outside and insulate it, and I think and then, you know, maybe build of course an enclosure around the outside, but I think we can turn this into a nice little heat treat oven. I'd like to have a bigger one, but for now this will be we'll do this bare bones and see what we come up with. It's nice and made. This thing's heavy. This is not light, and it's got a really nice door on it, and I think we can do this. So we're gonna see what we get out of it. Okay, we got to strip down naked here. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. It's got a nice heavy-duty hinge and hinge mechanism, and door locking mechanism. I took out the locking part. There was a little motor-controlled locking mechanism. I took that all out. But I stripped everything off. And we got, you know, there's of course ports because it was a low pressurized unit created by the steam in there, and there's sharp edges. I fixed all those up now, but after the fact, of course. There's what it looks like open. And we have an idea of 11 inches. And we have a depth of about 18 inches. So I think nice chamber. We can plug all the holes. That's not a problem. But I'll make some bricks. So we have a nice chamber in the middle. We should be able to have at least 2 inches all the way around. Maybe a little more even. But we'll end up with a nice little chamber in there. And all this is steel out here. This is all steel, and then this here part is a stainless steel. Now there was a rubber gasket thing that went on there, but we got rid of that already. So we'll have to put bricks on that. But very, very nice little unit. Heavy as can be. And we have a lot of parts. A lot of parts.